Hello, thank you so much for joining us today for the information session about the first year experience with the Bachelor of Arts in Policing and Combination Degree Program. I'm joined today by one of the professors from our program along with one of our current students. And myself, I'm Christina. I am part of the recruitment team here at Laurier. So before we jump into some question and answer, let's begin with introduction. Bronwyn?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Bronwyn Harvey. I'm in my fourth year currently of the policing degree program at Laurier, and I've combined my policing degree with psychology, and I'm very excited to speak more about that today.
And I'm Dr. Scott Blanford. I'm the program coordinator for all the public safety and policing programs here at Laurier.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's very busy, both for students and faculty members, so I appreciate you taking the time to join us. Scott, I'm wondering if you could begin by telling us a little bit about the structure of the program and the nature of the policing courses that will be taken.
Sure. This program was designed as a dual major program where you can combine policing with some other degree program that is within the Bachelor of Arts family. So you can't combine it with a Bachelor of Science, for example. But it opens up opportunities for students to combine their policing interests along with another discipline, such as in Bronwyn's case, psychology. You could combine it with sociology. You could combine it with criminology. Business program, computers, as long as it's within the BA family. So what it does is it allows students to get a broader perspective on topics that are relevant to public safety. The policing courses themselves are specifically designed to be delivered in an online format, so you'll never set foot in classroom for those courses, which gives students greater flexibility while they're taking their other courses from the other discipline.
That's great. And Bronwyn, what do you think is the most important part of the experience as a first year in the program?
For sure. Certainly with the policing BA, I think the most important part, there's two things I would highlight. One is certainly getting used to that online format. If you haven't taken studies in an online format before, it's not difficult. It's just a matter of learning what's the best schedule for you. What is your best time to work? And when can you personally be more productive? We're online, so there's really no scheduled hours. There's no scheduled time for you. You create that for yourself, which is really appealing. And secondly, it's reaching out to your faculty members. I can't stress that enough. It's certainly the most important, what was most important for my first year, just building those connections because you're not seeing those people face to face. So shooting an email, building those connections, it's really easy and it really pays off, definitely.
Okay, that's great to know. I think especially when it comes to building relationships with your faculty and your professors, you can't underestimate the value in that for sure. So now I'm wondering if you could tell me about what some of the courses and workload is like in first year, something that we often see as students coming from high school get a little bit nervous about that transition. So Bronwyn, could you tell us a bit about that?
Oh, certainly. I think back to my first year very fondly because I was so excited to begin, as I'm sure many incoming students would be as well. And again, it is different. It's going to be a different workload than coming from high school, but it's okay. You've got peers there to support you. You've got faculty to support you. And like I say, it's just finding what's your best time to work. It may not be between the hours of 9 and 5. You may work best for yourself in the evening, perhaps earlier in the morning, perhaps middle of the day. It's really establishing that time for yourself. I'd say for each of my courses, I would kind of dedicate one day if I had that in my schedule to do. So Monday to Friday, I might dedicate each day to an individual course so I could really sink into that course for the week. I may spend a few hours, maybe 3 hours reviewing the readings, and then a couple additional hours going over any lesson content for that week as well. Again, with that online format, you can do a bit of work, you can go for a walk, you can come back. It makes it really flexible, and certainly it was easy to dive into. Definitely a lot of work, it can be, but very rewarding and very easy to adapt to if you find that you're a good self-learner.
That's great to know. Scott, is there anything that you would like to add to that?
Well, just building on Bronwyn's comments, that's a concern a lot of people have when they're doing online courses is the sense that I'm all alone. And one of the jokes I make with my fellow instructors is that we often feel like the Maytag repair person because if we don't hear from students, We just assume that everything's okay. And we're happy to talk about the subject. We're waiting for people the students to contact us and ask us questions because particularly in the policing program, all of the instructors have practical experience as well as the academic credentials. So they love to talk about their topics. So I want to make sure that students understand that they're never alone in this program. They always have their instructors. And even though they're online, they still have access to all the same support systems that an in-class student at the campus would have.
It's really great to know that you're just like an email away if anybody needs some support. So I know that Laurier is very rich with experiences that support your learning outside of the classroom and applying what you've learned to, tangible experiences. So I'm wondering if there's either any opportunities that you've had so far in the policing combination program, or if there's any opportunities that you have coming up that you're looking forward to, either in the policing courses or from the psychology Bachelor of Arts that you're doing as well.
Absolutely. And again, that is the beauty of this program is you do get to have that combination. So for me, I was very drawn to psychology, and that brought me to the Waterloo campus, which is where my base was for my first few years. And with that, I know with psychology, I'm sure with a couple of other faculties, it may be similar. We do have a few courses which are community service learning courses. I had the opportunity to take one of those. It was called community psychology. Not only did it directly tie into my police studies and was I able to create these wonderful bridges in my education, I also had the opportunity to do a 20-hour placement at a local emergency food hamper program. And that was absolutely life-changing. I ended up working there for 2 years after that based on that relationship I made there. And the lessons I learned there, working with diverse populations, being able to apply a lot of these communication skills I had been introduced to in my first 2 years of my policing degree, it was really just, I know it's helped me so much in my personal and professional development. So I'd encourage students to look into these combinations and see what else is available out there just to draw them out of that online space and really use these skills. And yeah, certainly I'm just finishing up some courses now. I've got 2 part-time semesters left. So as far as the rest of my program, I'm very excited to take some fun courses, I would say, and finish off my degree on a high note for sure.
I
Just
think,
add to that as well.
yes, absolutely.
In the policing side, because we're all online, it's difficult to have those types of placements. But the one thing we do try to do is we share information because so many of our instructors are still tied into the industry. We share a lot of information on upcoming webinars and seminars that are being offered within the actual industry. So you get to participate in those webinars with actual practitioners, which is a fantastic opportunity for learning from the people on the ground and also developing a network of contacts.
I think what you just said there, Scott, it really ties in with what I was about to comment to Bronwyn with the experience she had and ending up getting a job. Like the ability to network and make connections both within the industry and then also the community as well as a whole is incredible. So I think those opportunities are certainly very valuable for prospective students. So Scott, I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit to how the policing program might align with some career growth and goals and opportunities that students who are really interested in policing might be interested in hearing more about.
Right. My previous career, I was policing. 30 years as a police officer. I retired from the HR department. So I've been involved in recruiting. I've studied recruiting extensively. And I can tell you the one thing that police recruiters are looking for now are those broader skill sets that are developed through a education, not just specific to policing, but also that depth and breadth that's brought through other programs and other disciplines. And also, they're really looking for those soft skills, the time management, the critical thinking skills, the strong written communication skills, not just the technical skills. And this program allows you to develop those across a broad range of topics. And those are the types of skill sets that the police departments are looking for. Average age, last time I checked, was running around 27 years old for a police officer. So the question becomes, as a recruiter, what have you done in that time since high school to contribute to your skill sets and what can you bring to the organization? So I used to use the analogy of it's like a toolbox. And when you come to the recruiting office, you open up your toolbox and you begin to lay your tools out on the table. And the more you have there, the better you look as a prospective candidate for the service. And having that university education is a big factor. There are changes that are coming to the new Police Services Act that will require a university degree, college degree, or a college diploma. And I believe that it's a case of where the degree will always be the de facto standard that police organizations are hiring to. So you're setting yourself up well for a position within a police organization, as well as advancement within that organization, because it opens up doors to move on to, for example, our Masters Public Safety program, which is going to become probably a de facto standard to move up in senior management within police organizations.
Yeah, really, really good information, because we do know that so often students are coming into these programs and doing research thinking what their dreams and goals are down the road. So it's always good to have that in mind and feel confident in the decision that you're making when it comes to education. Okay, Bronwyn, this is going to probably be the hardest question I ask you today, and I think you know it's coming. But I'm wondering if you could tell me what your favorite either first year memory or memory in general as a Laurier student is.
Absolutely. I think it's pretty easy. And again, this is drawing more from the fact that we have this opportunity, pardon me, to combine our studies, come out of that online classroom for a portion of our degree. And for me, it's certainly been being as involved as I can be on campus at Laurier. There are so many opportunities. I mean, we talk about these soft skills that Dr. Blanford was just mentioning, these skills that go kind of beyond what you would traditionally think of when you think of a police officer. How do I develop those? Getting involved. I was a first year representative for the Psychology Society. That was amazing. I had the opportunity to practice my presentation skills and my public speaking, as well as build some really good friendships. I also served on the emergency response team at Laurier as I'm a certified first responder. And so having, again, those real life moments, those calls, those first aid calls was really wonderful, building those connections and, you know, that emergency management sort of mindset as well was really, really valuable. And certainly there are so many other opportunities. If those two don't appeal to you, there are so many opportunities with Laurier, and I would really encourage anyone to get involved. It really changes and adds a lot to your university experience.
I think you just hit the nail on the head with everything that we always try to convey to students, is that there's so much that you can learn and enrich your education with outside of the classroom. The emergency response team as well, I'm sure being part of that is something that will look so incredible on a resume when you're graduating and job searching and setting yourself up for success with a career as well. Well, that's it for my questions for you. I did just want to take another minute to thank you both for joining us today, and to everybody who's tuned in to watch this video. I hope that you found the insights from both a student and a faculty member very, very insightful. We wish you luck in your decision-making process and really look forward to seeing you on campus, hopefully this fall. So thanks so much, everybody.